Anyone would like to ask a question about Gen life? So, who would like to ask some question?
Uh, okay, I have a question for Veronika and Glauco. That what do you think are the benefits of being Gen? Because I think both of you have more experiences about Gens that you have in past and until now.
Sorry, can you speak a little bit louder, close to the microphone?
Okay. The question is, what do you think are the benefits of being a Gen? Benefits of being a Gen. What do you think?
Qualcuno può aiutare? Non abbiamo capito.
Volevo chiedere quale beneficio avete a essere Gen.
Ah, beneficio.
Grazie.
Actually, for me to be a Gen, it makes me more happy. I found peace in my heart. I had not anymore a boring life like before, because my life became very interesting to live for something great. And I found Jesus in my life.
Yes. Also for me, it's the same. And besides this, for me, it's important. I would say, I found the meaning of life, the meaning of my life, and trying to forget about myself, but to love the others. Actually, I find really who I really am. So I didn't look to understand who I am, but trying to forget myself and living for the others. I also experienced, I also knew better who I am. So it was for me, besides joy and all these things, also to find the meaning of my life.
There is one question from Indonesia.
Okay.
So, Putri asks, what is the difficulties or the challenges that you have when you do act of love or doing good for others? Is it clear? So, this Putri who asked that question. So, I just translate for her. Thank you.
Actually, very difficulties to love is if I have to overcome my old man. If something I don't want to do, and then I really do it for love. But that I have first to jump. I have really to forget myself and to jump and to do something good for the others. So that is not always easy. Because my ego sometimes wants to stop me. But I'm not happy if I stop with my ego. I'm more happy if I'm able to jump beyond and love.
Actually, it was what I wanted to say, but I will say some other difficulties. Because this is you are right, it's the main difficulty is within myself, I think. But I experienced also some difficulties from outside. For example, my friends did not understand my life. And so maybe sometimes also my relatives, they saw that I was trying to love everyone, to be generous, and they did not understand. You said, you are too good, you are going to be mocked by the others, you are going to be cheated by the others. Do not be so good. Try to be a little bad. No? But, and so, also, my friends were not understanding my life, and also they were also going they used to drink a little, to take some drugs, etc. And so at a certain point, I felt I had also to withdraw from them, because otherwise they will affect me too much. So because they were giving a bad influence on me. So I tried to listen to my heart more than to them. Something like this.
Okay. Thank you, Glauco and Veronika.
I would like to ask you both, like, what is the different? Like, how is it different between being in a jail life and being full time?
The difference is simply that when you grew up, you have to choose what you are going to do in your life. So you choose one way. But the life is the same, because the life is trying to bring unity, to love everyone, to be the first to love, to make yourself one with the others, etc. And you can do this since you are a child. But then, of course, you grow up and you have to do your choices. You choose your school, then you choose your profession, and then you choose also your way of living. No, for example, most of the people they form a family because it's the natural way of living. No, but so and then it's just that you grow up and then you understand little by little what God wants from you. So it's just the same, now trying to understand what God wants from me. For us, it meant at a certain point to understand that God is calling us not to have only one natural family, but to dedicate ourselves to the whole family of humanity. And so we followed him. But Zen life is like the Poppy life is just a continuation of the Zen life.
Then to be called is like, if God calls, you cannot say no. We can say no to man, but I cannot say no to God. If he calls me and I feel in my heart that I have to follow him, so I go wherever he wants me. And I always experience that wherever he sends me, I feel at home. I feel at home and I'm happy. So I have been in Pakistan, I have been in Germany, in Italy, now I'm in Thailand. But wherever God sends me, I feel free. I feel at home because I follow him. But this is the same. If you are called to get married, you will feel home because you are there where God wants you, in your marriage life, in your family. So it's the same, no? But we have only to discover where God calls us, because God wants us to be happy, every one of us.
Okay, thank you. So, anyone next?
Maybe
Hello.
Okay, one by one.
Okay, so
Okay, you choose country.
Okay, you first. Okay.
Yeah, Myanmar first. Okay.
Okay, Myanmar. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all. We are from Myanmar. And actually, this is not my question. This is his question he wants to ask.
My question.
Yes, I will translate for him. So, one thing that he wants to know about love, like if he can't continue loving someone, and is that okay to ignore? So, if he be a good Jan, if he ignore that person, because he can't show his love to him, that's why he just ignore to him. So, is that okay or not to be a Jan?
you mean if the other one don't give you answer, you laugh, but the other one don't. It's like this.
No, not like that. He
No.
can love that one.
Yes.
So
if in front of him and he can't speak, even he can't speak to him or her. That's why he asked me like, is that okay to ignore him? Ignore.
Ignore because
Yes,
you cannot speak to that person.
yes. He can show his love to that person. So just ignore is okay or not?
No block though. You can know block.
Ignore.
You can know that block.
Ignore. Yeah. Do you understand his question on?
I sometimes there are situations in life where you cannot go and talk to someone. There are situations, but it's normally it's always good to do something. But sometimes we cannot. It's true. There are situations we cannot, but we can always pray for that person. I think it's never true that we only ignore, because we will feel bad inside if we ignore. But maybe if you cannot do something, but you can always pray.
I remember an experience. One time I got angry with a person because he behaved bad with me. And in that moment, I wasn't able to talk to him because I was so angry. But I was thinking, if I stay like this, nothing will happen. I will feel bad, and he will feel bad, and so what happens? And so I tried to do some concrete acts of love for him. I went to clean the place where he was. He didn't know about it, but maybe he didn't notice also. But this act of love helped me to go beyond myself. And so I was not able to talk, and then we were able to talk after some time. But what is important is not to stop loving, even though maybe you cannot speak, but you can do some acts of love, either to this person or also to the others. The important thing is not to stop love in my heart, I think. So maybe I have a difficulty with Veronika, but I speak with some other else. I try to love some other else until I feel that I am healed. My heart will be healed, and so I will be able also to talk again with Veronika, for example.
I was in Pakistan, really hate one another. So I could not go to some place and say, I love you. I want to do something for you. They will kill me. So I cannot talk to these people, but I can pray for them. So that's why I told you that sometimes there are situations you cannot, but we can always do something. We cannot only ignore.
Yeah.
It's okay? It's okay, the answer?
Yeah, thank you.
She said thank you so much.
But I had to say more question.
He has more questions. Is that okay to ask?
Yeah.
Okay. So last question.
ทันเลยนะคะ Okay, when you were a Jane, do you feel tired and worrying of anything that you have to do? And how did you get through the feeling like that? And being a good person is not enough. Why have to be a Jane?
Thank you for your question.
Yeah.
I understood the second question, but not very well the first part.
The third part kiri ke none abbastanza essere buono, devi essere Jane.
Yeah, this I understood. Okay. So I think for someone who God does not call to be a Jen is enough to be a good person. Of course that is enough to be a good person. Because to be a Jen, to be a real Jen, is a call of God, you know. Is something very great. Is a wonderful call of God, a plan of God for you, because God wants to use you to do something great. But that's a call of God. So if you feel to do something great, yes, you have to choose. But of course, if you can be a good person and in your place, it's okay, no problem.
What Veronika said before, no, is that God wants us to be free and to be happy. He does not want all of the youth to be Zen. He calls someone to be Zen, someone to follow another movement, someone to follow another religion, someone to follow to be Muslim, someone to be Buddhist. What is important is to do according what you feel in your heart, deep in your heart. I think this is the important thing.
Anche la prima, no, che chiedeva che non eravamo mai così stufati di non fare niente quando eravamo più giovani.
Yes, at a certain point, during my Zen life, I felt that I was a bit tired because I was doing very much things, a lot of things. I was working in the bank, and then coming back home, I was doing a lot of activities. And at a certain point, I felt I was quite exhausted. And also, at a certain point, I feel also like I was my Gen boys and girls friends. I discovered that they also have some limitations. I mean, they were boring me, some of them. But then I asked myself, are you going to be a Zen because you enjoy it, because you have a good time, or out of love, because you want to love all the persons? And so I understood that maybe it's the moment that I have to do a further step. Not because in my culture there is a proverb, no, that says, when the road is easy, the road is going down, it is very easy to run. It's not difficult. But when the way is up, so it means that you have to do your part. And so I tried to go beyond what I was feeling, and it was for me to do a further choice to love, not to just to enjoy, to be happy, but to love also with my will. No? I don't know if I answered.
โอเคค่ะ
Okay, thank you so much for a great experience about Gen experience. Thank you.
Ciao Glauco.
Ciao Randy.
Yes, yeah. I want to ask you about your when you during your Gen. So I have question to both of you actually. The question is how you know what God want from you.
It's a difficult question.
No, it's very simple. Just loving. Try to do not concentrate on myself, but try to love the others. So at a certain point, I understand what God wants from me. It sounds absurd, no? Because you don't think of yourself, you think of the others. But in this way, I got to know what God wants from me. So maybe it's easy to say, maybe it's more difficult to live, but actually it's like this. Try not to think too much of myself, but try to love the others. For me, it was like this.
God doesn't use loudspeakers or handphone. I think for me, I tell you only one small thing, how I understood what God wants from me.
Yes.
I was already working in a hospital. I was a nurse, and I was 22, 23 years old. I don't know, I think it's maybe also for all of you like this. On a certain point you think, but what will I do with my life? What God wants from me? No, it was the same for me. I thought, Jesus, what do you want from me? So, but no answer. And like Glauco told, trying to go on and live my Zen life, no? So one day I was coming home in my motorcycle from my office, from my job, and I was stick light, you say? I was waiting there. And I don't know why, in that moment in my heart, it was like Jesus was asking me, Veronika, are you ready to leave your family? For me, it was so strong this moment that the traffic light became yellow, green, and I could not start. So the cars behind me, I still remember the horn, choo, 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 because it was so strong moment for me. So in that moment, God spoke to me, no? He asked me, are you ready, Veronika? So for everyone is different, no? Maybe another one understands in another way, but sometimes we need also to listen or to understand the small little signs that God gives us and I speaks to us. He speaks to everyone. Only the ways are different. Okay.
Thank you, Veronika and Glauco.
We have one question, one more, last one. So I'm trying to love our neighbors as much as I can. I try to help the others with all my heart, but sometimes they was bullying me and then they were talking bad things about me. I feel so angry. So how can I respond to that? Also, the people they are saying bad things to my family, so I cannot laugh anymore. So what can I do?
My experience, I try to be strong because through the sufferings, through difficulties, I also can grow up. But it's not enough. I only one most important thing was to also to trust in the other Gen boys and girls and to share with them when there was some difficulty, to share, because if I am alone at a certain point I fall down. I have no strength anymore, but the strength comes from unity. So when there is some difficult problem, I try to share. Maybe there is only one person or two or few people against the current, but this helped me to be strong and not to give up. So to share with those who have your ideal. And then of course also to pray, no? Because it's not, we can do what we can, but also to pray God to give us the strength, to give us the light. But it's, for me, for my experience, it was always so much important to share with those who can understand, to share in order to be stronger.
And God is stronger. God is stronger than all the other things, no? I suffered a lot bullying things. I cannot tell you the truth, and I also was crying many times because of bullying. Because in Germany, the companions, they are sometimes very hard to one another, very naughty, very. So I remember that I was crying many times coming home from school because I was bullied. And once I wrote a letter to Chiara. That time Chiara was still alive with us. So I wrote Chiara a letter because of these problems, no? And Chiara answered me with the phrase from the gospel. She gave me this like a motto for my life. She told me, don't be afraid. Courage. It is me. It's a phrase from the gospel, no? So it gave me always courage to go ahead, also if it's difficult, also if it looks that all the others they go against stronger. God is stronger, and He will win. And also, like Glauco told, the unity with the others, not to share with the Focolare, to share with the other Gen, to share with someone with whom you trust, to share the difficulties. We can cry together, but we will face it. We will win.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bisa di-unmute karena kita mau
Can we take the photo all together?
Thank you. Everyone. Thanks a lot. Terima kasih banyak.
Thank you so much.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye bye. God bless. Uno sempre.
Uno, bye bye, ciao.
Thanks everyone. Terima kasih banyak.
Happy birthday to Johnny.
Happy birthday, Johnny. Happy birthday, Johnny.